we have come to the end of our week. Yes, we end on Mondays. What's good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live, your daily sports betting brand of record. We're powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it is not close. I'm your boy, the coach. The crew will be along in a second, but tonight means a lot for one team, and I'm talking about the visiting team tonight. It's the LA Chargers, very much alive in the playoff race, but they need to keep winning. The Colts, well, the fighting Nick Foles. That's right. After 2 years, Nick Foles replacing Matt Ryan at quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. We have some interesting best bets. We have some props that perhaps we may disagree on, and that's always fun here at the Early Edge. We've got a donkey. We've got a goose. We've got the gems. We have all of what you guys want at home, and including the absolute stars of the show. Let's bring him in right now live, because you know on a Monday night who we have. First and foremost, live from Nashville, Tennessee, the penthouse level. And you don't always get that much snow in Nashville, but it looked like you had a lot, Mikey. Good evening.
Yeah, we got a little bit of snow here. Dusted again this morning. That's why it looked like everything was covered here. Chief's been enjoying the time in the snow, and I'm enjoying another primetime game tonight. I think we got a competitive one on our hands.
Well, if you know it's prime time, there's nobody that's more locked in than M Squared right now. Next, live from parts unknown, and looks very laser focused tonight, Proppy Claus. Alex, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach. Mikey, cousin Sia. Great to see you guys. We had a great week 16 with props. We went 4-1 on the stream, 4-0 in my article, 3-1 on the site. I've got a pick I like tonight. I think this is a great low-key matchup. I'm excited to break it down.
All right, we will break it down very, very shortly. By the way, the show yesterday, if you got up and tailed us on Christmas Day, we went 11-5-1 just on straight bets. We've had an incredible weekend. Now, finally, he is the most handsome. No, we're not calling him that anymore. We have a brand new nickname we're debuting tonight, right here, right now. And I cannot remember who came up with it, but whoever did, put your name into the chat, prove it, and I will send you $100 cold, hard cash. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the counselor of cash. Please welcome Sia Najad. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. And by the way, you can still call me handsome if you want. No problem. I'm going to allow that. I believe it was actually Eric David who came up with that nickname, but I'll wait for him or somebody else to verify. Interesting game tonight. So many narratives you can build off of with respect to the Chargers, perhaps clinching the playoffs with a win tonight, or the Colts coming off such a horrific loss. How do they respond, particularly with a backup, or really back up to the backup quarterback? So this is a really interesting situation. You can build narratives to make your play. Maybe that's not the way to go, but certainly not a lot of narratives to build in this one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The Colts blowing a 33-0 lead. It's hard to even say, and it's hard to do, but they did it and lost 39-36 to the Minnesota Vikings. So their mojo, their attitude, we'll see what they look like. At least they're playing at home, and they're not playing on the road after that devastating loss. All right, we've got a lot to get to, so let's get to our best bets. That's where we start. By the way, if you want to see the donkey or the goose tonight, you know what you need to do. I need 500 likes, and don't make me wait till 8:05 Eastern time. Let's take care of it right here, right now. Take the chat down, hit the like button, put it right back up, and keep on talking amongst yourselves. So we do our best bets first. So let me look at my notes, because I would love to start with a side. And Mikey, I can think of no better way than to start with you. You're up.
Yes, we are backing the Colts tonight. I played at +4. It was +4 all day when I set it in. It is not +4 anymore. It is 3.5. There's only one remaining book where you can get it at +4 in the U.S. Going to be at WinBet currently if you have that option. There are a couple in Canada at 4. Everything else 3.5. I don't hate it at 3.5. I don't love it because you give up the push condition against a team that has a ton of competitive games in the Chargers. However, the good news is if the Chargers start with the ball, the Colts will be 4.5 immediately on the kickoff because the other team will be in possession of the ball. So you can still follow at that point. You will also very likely be able to grab this number in game. But as far as the game here, the simulations for me make this game -1. Pretty significant edge on it. Just love getting it at the 4. This Chargers team has only won one game by 6+ points this season. It was week 4 against the Texans. I don't even think that should count playing the Texans. They were a disaster all season, especially early in the year there at that point. As far as Nick Foles, not that much of a downgrade, if any, from Matt Ryan. I make 0 downgrade in the simulation from Matt Ryan. I could make the argument that he would be an upgrade. He can scramble a little bit. He's definitely going to have the ability to throw the football down the field. What I see in this game, though, for the Chargers, the Colts side defensively, the Colts are very good. Top 10 defense in the league. I expect a lot of too high safeties. I expect them to make the Chargers dink and dunk, move the football down the field, eat clock, and then try to stop them and settle for field goals. That leads to competitive football games when the Chargers defense is allowing 5.6 yards per carry to anyone. I think I could run for probably 2.5 yards per carry against this Chargers defense. So I think we're going to see some competitive football games out there here. I think Nick Foles can manage things really well. And we're taking the points to start the game. And of course, I'll be live betting. Yeah, it's highly speculative because of the quarterback situation, but give me the points.
Mm-hmm. And before some of you in the chat go, oh, nobody locks in on primetime games more than M Squared. I'm just telling you, it's like a great coach. If you give it Mikey like a week to prepare or like time to, boy, he gets locked in. He certainly does. All right, so we're on the Colts plus the 4 with Mikey. Now, a full transparency moment for those of you who are new. We may have opposite picks on the show. We never talk to each other. We don't force each other to make picks, and then we just deal with it as we come along. Now, let's stay with the Colts side because, Proppy, you have one play tonight that you really like, and I'll be honest with you. I'm a little bit surprised. You normally don't like these kind of props, but tonight we're doing.
Yeah, I like Zach Moss over 49.5 rushing yards. Mike talked at length about this Chargers run defense, one of the worst in the NFL, 30th in EPA allowed per rush, 29th in PFF's run grade. So last week we saw Zach Moss handle 24 carries against the Vikings. Obviously no Jonathan Taylor in the backfield tonight. Not expecting a repeat performance as far as the volume is concerned, but I do anticipate him getting 12 to 15 rushing attempts in this game against an incredibly soft Chargers run defense, also depleted by injuries as well. So this is a good spot for Zach Moss. He had 67% snap share compared to Deion Jackson, also who's running in the backfield for the Colts. I definitely think this game will be competitive as well. So I like Zach Moss over 49.5 rushing yards. This line opened actually at 59.5, has since been bet down by another sharp group, but there comes a point where the value just flips onto the other side. And yeah, I think if you can get this number 51.5 or lower, there is definitely some value on the over. That's where I'd play it up to. So give me Zach Moss over 49.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, right now my book has it at 55.5. So I think it's been going like this based off what you just said. Different people laying big amounts. And I apologize. I thought you were on the receiving number for the running back, which you don't normally like to do. So I just read it wrong. So that's my apologies. All right. So that's the Colts side. Now on the Chargers side, our new NFL handicapper, Alabama, was on the show this morning, and she even mentioned you, Prop Star. She said you like this play. Austin Eckler over 32.5. This number has stayed pretty much throughout the day. Now the juice continues to go up, but the number stayed the same. I think he's going to blow this out of the water. Why do you like it, Alex, so much?
Yeah, just a really good spot for Eckler. Obviously, he's averaging, I think, 45 receiving yards per game. The Colts have also allowed the third most receiving yards to opposing running backs as well. Mike talked about the two high safeties, them kind of encouraging the Chargers to dink and dunk. I think Eckler is going to be a big beneficiary of that. I think he's going to be utilized in the short passing game. I think this is just 5 to 7 yards too low as well.
I agree. I can see him going easily over 50 tonight. I just watched that Colts defense last week. I just did. I think this is a great spot. All right, I'm going to do my 3 plays. Now, I've been locked into the NBA, and right now the Nets are up big too. That's been my focus. But tonight I went back, did a research. And when you get to this time of the year, and you've got to make the playoffs, and you've got to have your big boys step up and be counted, that's a night like tonight. So I got 3 plays. I'm going to go Keenan Allen over 5.5 catches, minus 155. I know it's juicy, but sometimes the juice is worth the squeeze, right? So Keenan Allen, the last two games, 20 catches, 8 and 12. I'm also playing his yardage over 61.5. Last 2 weeks, 86 and 92. Then Mike Williams, I'm going to play over 60.5 receiving yards. He's had 67 and 116. Everything matters. This game is everything to the Chargers. Herbert's going to look at 3 dudes, Eckler, Williams, and Allen, and they all 3 will have big games tonight. So with that being said, Sia, let me come to you. What is your best bet tonight, sir?
Oh no, we might have another situation where I lose money to Coach like I did last week during the Jets game. So I have Keenan Allen under 61.5 receiving yards. You can get that. You can get it at 62.5. You can get it at 60.5 and 61.5. So the it's all over the board depending on the book, but generally it's around that 61.5 yardage mark at -115. A couple things going for this bet, in my opinion. First of all, I like your catch prop. I still think he can get over 5.5 catches at that heavy juice and be under the 61.5 receiving yards because his ADOT is typically lower than pretty much every other receiver on the team. With all that said, the Colts are also pretty good against the pass and particularly good against slot wide receivers. I do think, it goes back to what M Squared said about the two high safeties and what they're going to force the Chargers to do. I also think they're going to force the Chargers to just run the ball because the Chargers are going to see a lot of sets that are going to make it run friendly for them. We saw Eckler last week average 4.8 yards per carry. That was his highest efficiency since week 5. What that tells me is that everybody's sort of giving respect to the passing game and allowing some of those rushing lanes to Josh Kelly, who, by the way, had 10 carries last week, and Austin Eckler, who had 12 carries last week. So long story short, I just don't think Keenan Allen, especially with the ball control game on the Colts side, I don't see enough possessions and enough targets for him to actually surpass the 61.5 receiving yards. Can he surpass the 5.5 targets? Yes, but I don't think he surpasses the 61.5 receiving yards. So I'm taking the under there at -115.
As the host of this show, my job is to ask questions. So, Sia, I have just one question for you. Are you in or are you out?
I think it's time for the music.
It's gonna be a showdown.
Oh! Damn it, I love when I get a showdown with my man, Sia. All right, here's the number, 61.5. Sia's got the under. I've got the over. Now, I'm going to pay it forward. I told you today on the morning show that we're starting an account because the young lady who won the other day says, Coach, I don't want your $100. I want you to start an account. And I know that Sia has all this year been asking us, let's support St. Jude. So here's what we're going to do, Sia, because you started it and because a young lady wanted to give it to a charity. We're going to start. Anybody wants to pay it forward? If you have a big day, if you win a lot, we're going to give you a special Venmo. You can Venmo straight into the account. At the end of the year, I'm going to send it to you. You're going to send it to your beautiful wife, and that's what we're going to do. Are you cool with that?
I'm 100% cool with that. 100%.
Let's go. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So I'm actually not going to give it to charity tonight because I like the fact that people on December 26th. So if you think I could win tonight and you want to back me, just write Coach into the chat. We're going to pick one winner. If I win, I will give it to you. I'm not even going to keep it. Alex, go ahead, sir.
Coach, I'm also in the giving mood tonight as well. As you know, one of my many nicknames is Proppy Claus after all. So if we cash Zach Moss, I will give $100 to someone in the chat. All you have to do is type Proppy Claus and AB will select a potential winner.
Is that with a Y or an IE?
Let's go Y.
All right. Proppy. Good thing Buckus isn't here. He can't spell for nothing. All right. Now, I've got another question. Everybody, can we look to the heavens, please? Can we all look to the heavens? Voice of God, are you there?
Oh, we are here.
Oh, he's there tonight, the day after Christmas. The voice of God is here. Voice of God, I would love on a night when we have a quarterback playing for the first time in 2 years, I can't help but think he may throw it to a person on the other team at least once. Can you take us through the no-fly zone and let us know if it's open or closed tonight?
I sure can, Coach. And you know what? You're exactly right. All right, so we're playing both quarterbacks over half an interception tonight. And let me show you exactly why. Because this is the wildest no-fly zone splits we've ever done on this show. So first, we're going to play Justin Herbert here. Now, look. Justin Herbert, if he's on and they're throwing, he could throw for 9,000 yards tonight. Like, legitimately, he could do it. That being said, though, as Mike and Sia broke down, watch how the Colts operate deep with the safeties and in their secondary to stop it. But you see, all right, the Colts, pass defense rankings here on the left and how they kind of operate. You see Justin Herbert here. Watch him avoid the middle of the field short, but hit short rights, short lefts, deep in the middle of the field. Now, you see the arrow. That's the point of contention to where Herbert could have success or it could go to hell in a hurry. So always pay attention to the deep left here for Herbert. But yeah, keep this in mind as you watch him operate. Short left, short right, stay away from the middle. That's where our pick is going to come from. Now, Nick Foles, and let me get these bots out of here real quick. Nick Foles either is going to go legend or he's going to be in a world of hell tonight. All right, you see the Chargers defense corner left here. Look, Nick Foles is going to have troubles. Short left, mid right, deep right, middle of the field. Watch him throw to the short right here and also deep left, deep mid. That's where he could have success. But again, Nick Foles is either going to just have an awesome legendary night or it's going to be the worst night of quarterbacking we've ever seen. Long story short, we're taking both tonight to throw a pick.
All right. Very, very good. One thing I forgot to mention, I hate to ask you all to do it again, but I need your Venmo with coach or proppy clause. So I need you to type in coach, then your Venmo so we can find you, because the other day I couldn't find one of the winners. So we need your Venmo so we can find you as well. Now, there's one more little giveaway that I want to do tonight, because ladies and gentlemen, many of you may not have been paying attention this year, but there's been a very, very healthy, diabolical competition amongst those of us here on the show. And tonight it all comes to a head. Oh, can you show your face? One time, can you show your face? Because we have a competition tonight. And Alex, I'm looking at you, big boy. I am looking at you. Do you or do you not have to have a massive game tonight in fantasy to claim a championship?
I do indeed, Coach.
Explain yourself on here. What do you need to do to beat our resident 5-tool player, AB?
Looking pretty dicey, but I think we believe we need 30 points from the combination of Zach Moss and Deion Jackson. Basically, the entire Colts starting backfield. Probably going to need 2 touchdowns between the pair of them, but I would say the odds are thin here.
Okay, thin, but there's still an opportunity or a propertunity. Am I right?
It could happen.
All right, so if Proppy comes back, and voice of God, your thoughts on the final night of our fantasy football season tonight?
Yes, sir. So, yeah, I try to come on. I do not have a camera attached, so it'd be impossible. But that being said, this is the SportsLine Early Edge Fantasy Football Championship game. And, yes, it's coming down to this. Props is going to have our man Moss and Jackson go off tonight. He could do it. They could absolutely do it. But I'll tell you what, we came into this game, I was favored by 6, and in our group chat, Eric Cohen said he's taking Props money line. So, Eric, if you're watching, how's that working out for you?
God, I love you guys so much. So here's what we're going to do. If Proppy can shock the world tonight, then your boy will give away another $100 to some very lucky person in the chat. So if you want to participate in that, all I need you to do is write comeback and your Venmo. Comeback and your Venmo, and you are entered, and we will pick somebody at random. Now, quick fantasy question for you, Sia. Jackson or Moss tonight?
So if you're doing showdown, and I think Mike could weigh in on this as well as we do FFT DFS together, but my lean would actually be to Deion Jackson. And again, that would really kind of assume a negative game script, perhaps, which Mike might be on the other side of. But I don't really know how that split's going to go. I know Deion Jackson was a little bit more efficient last week. I think my lean is for the upside of Deion Jackson, but Zach Moss certainly has the higher floor.
Mikey?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on the Colts running backs anyway. When Alex was talking about his play of Moss. So first of all, I love the play on Moss over. Some of the reason the line has come down is there is speculation that we've seen this in the past from them. Jordan Wilkins could potentially take some carries tonight. That is likely why you see other groups betting the under, the other side of that. I like Moss, though. I think that in a neutral to one score game, I think it's his backfield. I also think that he probably sees close to 20 touches in this game. So I would lean towards Moss over Deion personally, but Deion definitely has some upside. He's definitely going to be a little change of pace. So I fully expect them to both be involved, but it could be a situation where we have all three.
Keep in mind, even though Nick Foles hasn't played in a while, he's won a Super Bowl. He's been a starter in this league for a long time, and he has literally kind of patented the coming in and saving a team at the end of the year. That's what he does. That's who he is. All right, Alex, in the chat, they're asking about Josh Palmer. They're saying his number is 35.5, and I believe they are correct on that one. Yeah, around there. And he has averaged 66 yards a game, according to the chat, his last 8 games. Do you like Palmer tonight?
I don't mind him. Obviously, it's a really attractive number, especially considering obviously his hit rate has been very, very high this season. I would caution people. The majority of those big games came with both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams on the shelf. Now we have a Chargers offense that has their 2 stud wide receivers back healthy. We have Austin Eckler. We have Gerald Everett. We just have a lot of mouths to feed on this Chargers offense. However, I still like Josh Palmer. I still think he's going to be involved. I think he'll get somewhere between 4 to 6 to 7 targets tonight. So I would lean over on it. It's an over or a stay away for me. So I do think it's pretty solid. But yeah, don't have a huge edge on either way.
See, let me come to you. How do you kind of look? I know that you're on the Keenan Allen under, but there's a lot of, as probably says, mouths to feed. But really the big names are only on one side of the fence other than Michael Pittman. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, I actually liked Michael Pittman for the record, but I wanted to look at Michael Pittman, but the number ended up being a little bit too high for him. I think that's the problem breaking down the Los Angeles Chargers is there are so many mouths to feed. Keenan, Big Mike, Eckler, Palmer, DeAndre Carter still sometimes in the mix. And then you got the 3 tight ends. There's really 4, but 3 that can catch passes in Everett Parham and Trey McKitty. So it's just one of those things that kind of like let me go towards that Keenan Allen under in his yardage ultimately. If I'm going to pick any of these receivers, I do think Mike Williams is going to get some shots. And if we actually looked at the no-fly zone, I think, Mike lining up on the left side and getting some of those deep targets is very much in play. And I think the matchup is good for him as well. So if I was going to bet an over on anybody, it would be Mike Williams' longest catch or Mike Williams over receiving yards. But I do, for the record, I do like Josh Palmer a little bit. I just wonder if that number is a little too high because Josh Palmer has been proving it over the last few weeks. And I wonder if he still gets the same work in this particular game script.
Mike Williams, by the way, is 23.5 juiced to -130 on his longest reception. He did have a 35-yarder just last week. So you would like it at 23.5?
I do like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very, very good. Mikey, let me come to you. And then, Alex, I have one for you. Obviously, everybody's talking about Nick Foles, and people love to bet on quarterbacks. My number at my book is 230.5. Somebody in the chat says he has it at 219. I'm sure books have his number all over the place. What do you think Nick Foles could accomplish tonight?
I mean, I definitely think he has 250 to 270 in him for sure. I think the number, I'll tell you my number exactly here quickly on it. I think it's in the 230s, low 230s.
Okay.
Sorry guys. Let's see. 233.
All good.
Yeah, 233. It's right on market on mine. And while I'm at it, I got Herbert at 277. So a little bit lean on the under on Herbert's side, a little bit of not even a lean on the over on the full side. I think the number's fair where it's at. You can lean over if you're finding 219s. I would not play anything over 230. But yeah, I think the number's mostly right where it's at this point. I think that they're still going to run the football. They're still going to try to run the football quite a bit. So where it's going to come in, where it hits, is going to be a situation where they fall behind a couple scores. That's likely where we're going to see him really rack up the yards. So again, could be something if you have the live bet. I would prefer to maybe wait or take live or initial start on the under on a lot of these props, and then live bet overs should the game allow for that. So that's where I'm at on that one.
And my public service announcement, as always, you have to be watching the game live and follow my guys. They can teach you so much about live betting, but it can be a dangerous, dangerous place if you're not watching the game live. Alex, let me come to you, because if there's going to be 250 to 270 yards on the Colts side of things, somebody has to catch the ball. What does the lab say to you?
Yeah, so I like Michael Pittman as far as the Colts wide receivers go. I would definitely look to attack him from a volume-based perspective. That's typically, when we look at Michael Pittman, he gets a ton of targets. If you see, he has a fairly low ADOT, but he gets a ton of receptions, a ton of usage. So I definitely think his over 5.5 receptions is in play. Then as far as other Colts complementary weapons and receivers, Mike and I both talk about this guy a lot, rookie Alec Pierce. I definitely think Nick Foles could benefit him tonight. I could see him testing this Chargers defense with a couple of deep balls for Pierce. Pierce is serving as an outside wide receiver, and he's a deep threat. He's one of the better deep threat rookies in this draft class. So I like Alec Pierce in this spot, particularly his longest reception, which I believe is either 17.5 or 18.5. Definitely a spot I've had my eye on, and I definitely could see Nick Foles giving Pierce a couple opportunities for a deep ball tonight.
It is now 18.5. It is now 18.5 for that longest reception. Pooh Bear in the chat says over 1,000 people watching. We got a big audience as always. Only 400 likes. Maddie says, get those likes up so Coach doesn't yell at us, or worse, give you the side eye. You hate the side eye. Hit that like button. Let's go so we can give out the donkey and the goose and the gym and all that good stuff. So two more, actually. See, and then I got to come right back to you, Alex, because every time the Chargers are on, there's one question I always got to ask you. But we haven't talked about Herbert tonight, see ya. His number is 280.5, attempts 33.5. He had 42 last week. He literally throws almost every down, just like Mahomes. Do you like anything with Herbert tonight?
My lean would be to the unders there. And again, I go back to some of the efficiency I saw with Eckler last week. Listen, I get it. Eckler's not a guy you really run between the tackles with any success. But because Herbert has his full complement of weapons at the receiver positions and the tight end positions, I actually think that hurts his passing yardage because the defense really has to respect that passing game, and they're going to be willing to give up the 4 and 5 yard runs to Joshua Kelly and Austin Eckler. So again, if this is a ball control game and it is a neutral game script, I'm not sure how much Justin Herbert's doing with his arm relative to other Justin Herbert games.
Okay. Last question before we do the fun stuff. Alex, I actually went to the store the other day and I had a special envelope because a few weeks ago I cashed a plus 2,400 anytime touchdown ticket. And I just took that money, I put it in there. I said, I'm just going to spend it over the course of the next 8 weeks. And I'm just now running out. Who did we cash the plus 2,400 ticket with? Can you remember?
I've cashed quite a few of those, Coach. I actually don't recall which one it was.
You're a savage. You're a savage. It was Austin Eckler when he scored 3 touchdowns. So tonight, is this going to be the type of situation in game script that you can see Eckler finding the touchdown multiple times?
I do think there is a good shot for him to get in the end zone. As you can see, not to tip our hats too much, but in Mike and I's Goose and the donkey parlay, I do like Austin Eckler's anytime touchdown. However, 3 I think is going to be a long shot, particularly just this Colts defense is really stout up front. The 3 touchdowns came against the Texans, who obviously are much softer. The Colts are a good defense, top 10 in both EPA against the rush and in quarterback dropbacks as well. So very balanced. I do like, again, Eckler's chances to get in the end zone. I just think 2 or 3 might be a big ask. Plus, you just have all these other weapons. That was basically the Austin Eckler show earlier in the season when Keenan Allen and Mike Williams were both on the shelf. Now we've got all of Herbert's weapons back, so I think it'll be tougher for him to get the sort of volume needed to get in 2 or 3 times.
Lori says, Proppy, I love the modesty. So do I. So do I. All right, we are crossing the top of the hour. It's 8 o'clock in the east. It's 5 o'clock out here in the west where I'm sitting currently, and all destinations in between. That means we are just 15 minutes away from the start of Monday Night Football. We have 3 very important things to do. And since I'm in the giving mood, normally I do make you get to 500. You know what? It's Christmas. I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you those 30 likes, whatever we need. So we've got 2 different same-game parlays, and my gut tells me that since Christmas was yesterday and New Year's is coming up, that the football gods are going to be shining down on us tonight. So, Mikey, I want you to go first. It's time for Week 16 and the donkey.
All right, welcome back to the Colts. Last time a Colts game was here, we had a plus 3,400 that we lost by 1 yard or a yard on Matt Ryan. Fortunately, Matt Ryan is not involved tonight. Here we go. 100% boost on this one, plus 3,000. Colts alternate spread plus 11.5. Feel free to take 13.5 if you want. Chargers plus 6.5. Herbert over 254.5 passing yards. Nick Foles over 194.5. Austin Eckler under 79.5 rushing yards. Austin Eckler over 29.5 receiving yards. Pittman over 49.5. Keenan Allen over 49.5. The first quarter under 14.5 total points. And of course, Austin Eckler, anytime touchdown. Feel free to exclude it or any leg that you don't like. It's still going to have a massive payout tonight, plus 3,000 if you use the boost.
There is nobody in the NFL I think I saw a graphic 3 or 4 years. He has the most touchdowns of anybody in the league the last 3 or 4 years. I don't know exactly the time frame, but man, he has a nose for the end zone. He really, really does. All right, Mikey's not kidding. That plus 3,400, 1 yard, and they actually moved the ball back. Like they marked it with us and then moved it back. A lot of controversy there. But tonight there will be no controversy when we cash the donkey. But we're greedy. We want to cash 2 of them. So we have another one. Where is Goose tonight, Alex? Where's
Goose was here. He left a little bit ago. He was working hard, so I think he's just he had a really profitable weekend as well, Coach. So he's spending a lot of his winning bets. And
he's at the cat spa. He's getting his nails done. Yeah, he's getting his bath, the whole thing. I like it. All right, but he did take time today to give out his same game parlay we love so much. We like to call it the Goose.
There's Goose Themes music. Let's go. First up, Austin Eckler, anytime touchdown. I love this as well. He's, like Coach mentioned, this guy's got a nose for the end zone, unlike very few players. Then we've got the Colts to score at least 13 points. The Chargers to score at least 17 points. Austin Eckler under 80 rushing yards. Austin Eckler over 20 receiving yards. Michael Pittman over 50 receiving yards. And Justin Herbert over 230 passing yards without any boost. You can get this at plus 400.
Oh, I like it. So if you want kind of a big one with a plus 3,000 or a smaller one, we got you covered for both. Now, my guys also take a lot of time to dive into who they think can score a touchdown. It could become a very, very profitable type of thing. We call it the gym. And so far this year, Alex has successfully twice predicted this. So Alex, you, sir, get to go first. Who do you like tonight?
Thank you, Coach. Yeah, I've got Joshua Kelly plus 1,700. Sia mentioned this guy. He had a touchdown last week, actually. Handled 10 rushing attempts as well. Seems to be the preferred back in goal line and short yardage situations. So definitely could see a scenario where if the where the Chargers get the ball first, they lean on Eckler heavily between the 20s, and then Joshua Kelly plunges in a 3 or 4 yard touchdown. Give me him at plus 1,700 odds.
All right. And up next, he was the second one to cash this year. Voice of God. Who do you like tonight?
Yes, sir. We're going to keep it short and simple. Gerald Everett, tight end, Chargers, getting the job done. Herbert is a beast in the red zone. He's going to find his guy.
All right. Many of us think that it's going to be the Chargers scoring that first touchdown. Jake the Snake is on Josh Palmer, plus 2,000. Mikey, who do you like tonight?
We are headed to the Colts side. Makes sense. We like the Colts to cover the spread, at least in the game. Ashton Doolin, plus 3,000 is the number here that I like. He's been more involved the last 2 weeks. I expect him to be involved again tonight. He's also a player that gets handoffs, a lot of end arounds. They run and scheme something for him individually. What I like to speculate on in some of these situations, he's definitely the number 3, 4, 5 receiver, depending on the week. The receivers who are more likely to spend more time second and third string quarterbacks in the organization as a whole. They like to put them out there. Not a ton to play for at some of these certain situations here. This is where they like to feature some of these guys. So give me Ashton Doolin plus 3,000.
It does feel like a night where it could be a player with a really high number like this that could cash if it's the Colts that score first. Now, when you do have it this way, sometimes you can get another number, Sia, that normally you wouldn't get because of what the sports books thinks are going to happen. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to go with, you're right. I don't think people think the Colts are going to score first. I'm on Mikey for at least that part. I do lean to the Chargers in this game a bit, but I like Michael Pittman at plus 1,100 for your first touchdown score. Last week, he caught 10 of 14 balls for 60 yards. I mean, that's pretty pedestrian on the yardage, but with Nick Foles coming in, I think he's going to lock in on his big target in the middle of the field, and I think we're going to see Michael Pittman camp out there a little bit. So I do like Michael Pittman plus 1,100 tonight.
All right, I like it a lot. All right, so take your choice. Play who you like. You don't have to play all of them, but it's just a lot of fun. All right, so we have less than 10 minutes to get to the game. We got to go over our best bets one more time, and we will quickly throw up the donkey and the goose one more time too. So, guys, 10 seconds or less, we're going to go through our best bets and just explain, because a lot of people came in at the top of the hour and did not hear your explanation for your best bets. Sia, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little bit more running on both sides of the ball here, and I think that's going to keep Keenan Allen under 61.5 receiving yards. Remember, with a healthy squad, you've got Keenan, Big Mike, Eckler, Palmer, DeAndre Carter, Everett, Parham, Kitty. There's a lot of guys to throw to here, and there's a lot of rushing attempts with Eckler and Kelly in this one. So I like him under 61.5 receiving yards.
And your eyes are not deceiving you. We do have a showdown. I'm on the opposite side. I think Keenan Allen has a big night tonight, over 61.5. I also think he catches at least 6 balls. And Mike Williams will have a big night as far as yardage is concerned, over 60.5. AB is on Justin Herbert and Nick Foles, both to throw at least 1 interception. Then Allie is on Austin Eckler, over 32.5 receiving yards. Then Proppy, what do you like tonight?
Yeah, give me Zach Moss over 49.5 rushing yards. He handled 24 carries last week against the Vikings. I don't think that'll repeat this week, but I definitely think he's in line for 12 to 15 rushing attempts against the Chargers defense. That is one of the worst run defenses in the NFL this season. Give me Zach Moss over 49.5 rushing yards.
And nobody is better at targeting a prime time spot than my man M Squared. What do you like, Mikey?
We're going Colts +4 here. Don't sweat. You'll be able to find this live, especially if they don't have the ball first. I love this spot, though. Chargers really struggle to cover bigger numbers. They allow so many rushing yards. The way that these teams are going to defend each other, it allows for a competitive football game. Take the points with the primetime home dog.
All right, that is M Squared. Really quickly, Alex Fox says, I tried to get Allie's pick in today. By the time I got to it, it was 35.5. Would you still play it there?
I'd hold off there, or at least scale down to a half or quarter unit at that number.
All right, very, very good. All right, very quickly, if you came in at the top of the hour and you missed these, we'll throw them up one more time and quickly go through them. The donkey looks like what, Mikey?
All right, donkey, alt spreads on both sides, 11.5 Colts, 6.5 Chargers. Herbert and Foles over their passing yards. Note that Herbert, you can go lower if you want to here. Austin Eckler, under 79.5 rushing yards. Over 29.5 receiving yards. You can also go lower on that if you want to. Michael Pittman, over 49.5 receiving yards. Keenan Allen, over 49.5 receiving yards. First quarter, under 14.5 total points. Austin Eckler, anytime touchdown, plus 3,000 with the boost.
Oh, see ya. You look at that Keenan Allen number. We could have, if it hits, there's going to be a very little wiggle room for me and you. Very little wiggle room. All right, what does the goose look like, Alex?
Yeah, the goose looks like an Austin Eckler anytime touchdown as well. At least 13 points from the Colts, at least 17 points from the Chargers. Under 80 rushing yards for Austin Eckler, over 20 receiving yards for Austin Eckler, over 50 receiving yards for Michael Pittman, and over 230 passing yards for Justin Herbert. Put it all together, plus 400 odds, Coach.
Tonight is going to be a ton of fun, and you know we like to end every one of our shows asking my guys exactly the most important thing they're looking forward to tonight, so you can use this information for tonight or into the future. Mikey, what are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm looking forward to see if the Chargers can cover a spread that is larger than 3, and I want to see what Nick Foles is up to. Apparently, dogs are barking, says Chief. Good job, buddy.
Oh, man. His timing is impeccable. Impeccable, Chief. See ya. What do you like?
Interesting. You take a ride down Narrative Street. You can go any different direction you want. The Los Angeles Chargers, they're getting healthy on defense. They can clinch a playoff spot. Herbert has all of his weapons. Colts coming off a horrific loss. They install a new QB who's really the third string behind Sam Ehlinger of all people. And so you wonder why this spread is what it is. But I think, Mike's probably on the sharp side. I just wonder how it's going to go.
All right. Well, I'm anxious to see it. Proppy, talk to me.
Yeah, as most of you guys know, I am a diehard, lifelong Philadelphia Eagles fan. So Nick Foles holds a place near and dear in my heart. So getting to see this guy play football tonight is a treat for me, a Christmas treat, I might add. So always rooting for Nick Foles. I will always be grateful to this man for winning a Super Bowl with my Philadelphia Eagles. So hopefully we see a competitive game. Hopefully we hit all our props, including the goose, including the donkey. We have a profitable night, Coach, and you and I are giving out quite a few Venmo bucks as well.
Yeah, if you have not participated yet, we have 3 or 4 different ways you can participate. If Alex hits his, he'll give out $100. If I'm trying to remember all the rules. Go ahead, see, help me out here. I can't remember.
No, I wasn't sure if I was involved in it, but I'm certainly happy to contribute as well, whether it's to a listener or to St. Jude, however that plays out.
Why don't we do this? If you win yours, then you'll give to somebody in the chat, and if I beat you, then I'll give mine. So we don't keep it tonight. We don't keep it. Give it away. We'll start the St. Jude thing after the first of the year. Fair?
Great. Mm-hmm.
Fair. All right. So,
and we've got the fantasy championship on the line as well, Coach, with some money going
that's the other one. So if Alex can come back and shock the world and beat AB, I will give away another $100. So 3 different ways to win, but you got to put your Venmo and you got to put Coach. Come back. What's the third one? I can't remember the third one. We'll
Zach Moss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Zach Moss. Well, we're giving away so much money we can't even keep track. All right. Maybe I should write it down, and maybe that would be it. All right, man, what a fun show. But the game starts in 4 minutes, so we're going to get the hell out of Dodge and enjoy the game with all of you. But I can't tell you, this is the end of our week, and this has been an incredible week, an incredible holiday week. But we still have a New Year's week coming up. There are 4 bowl games tomorrow. We have our mega preview for the NFL tomorrow. So we never stop grinding. We never take a day off. But damn it, we love it. And why do we love it? We love it because of all of you at home, because all of you in the chat that make this so much fun to do. And with that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets, except for Keenan Allen under 61.5, straight to the pay window. My entire crew, love them all. M Squared, Proppy, Cianajad, the counselor of cash, AB, the voice of God, Jake the Snake somewhere. We have a huge crew. We love it. Right here. Good luck tonight from the Early Edge.